So what we're going to do today, we're going to move on to the rookies in this upcoming draft at wide receiver, and we're going to go over each of these guys that we think are probably going to make somewhat of an impact on the 2023 season in the NFL, whether it be later in the season or whether they have some type of impact in the preseason and they make a starting roster spot, or I don't know. We'll go from there, though. But for us, we got tier 1 guys, and we're going to jump right into our tier 1. I think a lot of these guys have, and I don't know if this is bias, but I think a lot of these guys do have Jackson Smith and Jigba as our top wide receiver in this draft. So, Steve,
yeah,
give me your take on Njigba and why you've got him ranked where you have him ranked.
Who's wearing Bumper's volleyball T-shirt?
Probably KJ.
He says it's a big flex.
I don't even think I won that year.
What is going on?
I don't even think
here?
I won that year.
Jesus. JSN, aka Jackson Smith. I can't. You guys are killing me here. I like him overall. If you go back to the 2021 season, right, he just was dominant. He outplayed Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, who both were top 10 picks. I mean, and who both shined this year in the NFL.
And Marvin Harrison Jr.
And Marvin Harrison Jr., who, I mean, it just, his play when he's on the field is crazy. Now, the hammy injury in 2022.
That's what scares me.
That's what scares me, right?
And Garrett Wilson even said in an interview that JSN is better than...
All three of them did.
Yeah.
Because Olave was there too. There was
Yeah.
three of them. They both looked at him like, yeah, no, he's way better.
Right.
And he is, because I think he's a really good mix of both of those players, personally. He doesn't have the speed of Olave. Not many people on earth do. But I really, really like him overall as a player. The only negative I had was the hammy injury, which I think a lot of that was like a business decision.
I agree.
Personally.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not looking too much into it, but he just is the guy. I think he should be a top 10 pick, and I think that he's going to be, maybe he may not be receiver 1 this year for a team, but he's definitely going to be a starter wherever he goes.
All right. How about you, Wheels? How you feeling about Njigba?
I
know you don't have him ranked as your one
he's
overall.
not my number 1 overall, and that's the injury alone. He wasn't there for the team, and it might have been a business decision at the end of the day, which I understand. Coming out of college, you want to save yourself for the pros, or maybe it was a coaching decision. So I tried not to look into it hard, but it still affected my ranking. I think he is one of the best wide receivers coming out, but at the same aspect is he didn't do anything to wow me this year because he was injured.
Yeah,
so
I'm
going off of last year's tape, which he looked really good last year.
God, he was so good.
100%.
Was he the leading receiver last year in college football?
Yeah.
I know he had over 1,600 yards. So
he didn't lead last year. I think it was Jordan Addison, actually, I think.
I don't know. I thought because it was 1,600 yards. It was huge. But there were a lot of receivers that are coming into the draft this year that had better 2021 seasons when I was looking at all the stats. Ryan, how you feeling on Njigba?
Same with all these guys. I mean,
are
we doing player comps?
You can do a player comp.
Okay.
Yeah, for 100%. If you can do a player comp, please comp it.
This guy has, in my opinion, when I say comps, I'm not saying that
His
this
upside.
guy. It's the upside that I see in this guy's receiving ability. I think he can be like a Keenan Allen.
Ooh.
He's not going to blow the roof off the place with the vertical, deep threat guy, but he has the ability to make you miss. His elite route running creates a lot of separation. I think it did it at the college level by like a ton. If you watch his film, he creates like 10 yards of separation.
Yeah.
So if you want to even say like, all right, well, he might lose 5 yards, it's still 5 yards of separation at the next level. I mean, Keenan Allen does the same thing. He gets off the line well. It's hard to press. You try to jab him off the line as a corner and you miss, you're screwed. You're screwed because you're immediately backpedaling. You have to flip your hips or turn around, and you're going to lose. This guy is an elite route runner, and he's a day 1 starter immediately in the NFL.
So, And I'm on par with all you guys with Njigba just because I watched enough of him in college. I have a question for you guys, and this has nothing to do with receivers.
I agree with Jimmy's take too.
This has nothing to do with receivers, though. So Jimmy and everybody here, I had this conversation with you guys the other day when we talked about the combine with C.J. Stroud. We all say that C.J. Stroud is the best quarterback in the draft. All of us here.
Yeah,
hands down.
Do we think that him having the best wide receivers in the last 3 years has any impact on his ability, or do you think he's going to take a step back in the NFL because he's had
All right, hold on.
10
You talking
talent?
about Stroud?
Yeah.
yeah.
When having the best receiver. So let me ask you a question.
Look what he did this year.
Just hold on. Just let me ask you a question. Do you think that Josh Allen having Stephon Diggs and his ability helps?
Yes.
I mean,
Or
just
hold on,
talent's going to help you.
I agree.
I mean-
I agree. I think that's a big reason why, like, Justin Fields struggled. I think that's a big reason why.
Right. So, like, but
I mean, yes. Does it help? Yes. Can Stroud make those throws though? Yes.
okay. So, but like what we just said, right? Like you all just said 2 seconds ago that Carolina should go after C.J. Stroud. This should be the guy. He's the NFL ready guy. We also just said
They have no wide
that
receivers.
their wide receiver is a clown car.
Yeah. I actually, if
but
if
that
honestly,
doesn't mean they can't make. I mean,
I don't know.
let's just throw it out there. Let's just say, the Carolina Panthers want to get a little crazy, and they want to offer Arizona a third or a fourth round pick, whatever they got left, for DeAndre Hopkins. Now all of a sudden you got DeAndre Hopkins, Terrace Marshall, who's a field stretcher. DeAndre Hopkins is your chain mover, right? That's what he is.
That's what he
all
is.
DeAndre
Yes.
Hopkins has ever been.
Possession receiver.
Yes. He's your kind of guy that is a big body, knows how to use his body, knows how to his catch radius is insane. His hands are strong as hell. Now you got those two guys. Say with pick 40, they get themselves a tight end. Next thing you know, you got some weapons for CJ
Well,
Stroud.
I think with
Not a
pick,
Purdue
there is no pick.
or Iowa.
Do they have a pick 40?
They have a pick 40.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They had 2 in
Yeah.
the second round. Okay.
Okay. I don't like that because you'll get a good receiver at 40, or you're like you said, or a tight end. You'll find
You're
a good.
absolutely right. You could.
But is that really?
But are you going to get a receiver like
Are you
DeAndre
gonna
Hopkins?
are you gonna compete
No.
this year?
But you're gonna get
are
more
you gonna
years.
compete?
But
I don't think so.
They have a good defense. I mean, they almost made it to the playoffs last year.
So what
Now,
Ryan,
granted, that division's
in
not
that
that
division,
good,
I was
and you
gonna
have
say.
now you have Derek Carr in that division, which might change things because now he's got wide receivers. He still has a defense. Now I will say that the Saints are over cap space by $25 million, and they have to figure out what the hell's going on there in like 3 days.
That's all right.
Saints?
They'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I heard the last thing I heard was the Saints were trying to work a deal out with Michael Thomas.
like a
Probably
restructure.
yeah,
they already
probably to open up-
restructured him
Yeah,
once.
if you look at them, they're in the
Yeah,
bottom of the
last year.
NFC
Gonna
for
look
cap
that up.
space.
Yeah. Oh my.
You know why that is because all the money they were paying Drew Brees is due now.
No,
they
look at their
backloaded
defense.
it so much
No,
too.
look at their defense. What was the corner I was talking to you about that didn't play at all last year?
That wasn't Lattimore.
Ryan
Lattimore.
Lattimore.
He didn't play a snap last year.
Well, he got injured like the
Yeah,
third game in. He didn't play almost the whole season, and they're paying him like $25 million right there.
Oh, it's almost like corners aren't worth the money.
And all these numbers and all these numbers are from
man.
what? Spotrac? All these numbers are Spotrac?
Yeah, all of those are from Spotrac, and those did
Just so
get
everyone knows.
updated yesterday, so they should be good. So that's all I wanted to ask. We can move forward from here. What did Jimmy say in the chat, Johnny?
That's a good point. I like that point.
If Stroud didn't play the way he did against Georgia, I would be a bit tentative. However, he showed up and hung 40-plus points. I think he will struggle a bit like every rookie quarterback does at some point.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean,
and we all said that. I think that cemented
curve.
Stroud for us as the top
yeah.
quarterback was
There's
what
always a
he did
learning
in that
curve.
game.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
there's always
there's-
always a
you're
learning curve.
you're not going to come into the NFL and be Patrick Mahomes day one. It's just not going to happen. There
Patrick Mahomes
hasn't.
wasn't Patrick Mahomes day one.
No, there hasn't been a guy who's stepped in.
Frank Wright's a good coach to come in. If I was a rookie and I was coming in to Frank Reich, I'd be okay
Yeah.
with that.
I mean, Carson Wentz came in great with Frank Reich, but then he went back with him, and it didn't look as good. And
Well, that's because Big Dick Foles came in and won a Super Bowl for him.
And Carson Wentz is injury prone and makes really bad decisions.
all
in the
right.
red zone.
So let's go to our number 2. Well, not number 2 overall, but another guy in our tier 1, which would be Hutchinson. And I know one person doesn't like this guy, but the other two do. So,
Let's go.
Wheels, tell me why Hutchinson.
I don't know why this guy is being touted so low. If you watch his film, he has all the measurables. He has all the talent on the field. He can run a route with he runs a fluid route and knows where the ball is going to be. Doesn't have to slow down to track the ball. Doesn't have to stop in his route. And he goes up after the ball. He's a very physical wide receiver. He can go in the outside the hash marks. He can play in the slot. He is not a super speedy guy consistently, but he's going to create separation enough where he can get yak yards consistently. I've liked this kid for the last month and a half or so. I've been touting him up.
You have?
And I don't know. And maybe it's because I like him so much I have him rated high, but if you watch his film, it's there. The talent's there. I think he's a day one wide receiver. I think he should be drafted in the first round. That's just how I feel. There's not really anything that I don't like besides his blocking, but you can do blocking. You can teach that. And you're not going to use him as a blocker 90% of the time.
He's a physical receiver, so he's capable of blocking.
Yeah, that was his lowest. That's my lowest
9 times out
thing.
of the 10, all you want is your receiver to just get in the way.
Yeah.
Exactly. You just want him to nudge him a little.
Did you see what NFL Draft Buzz comped him to? Did you see who he was?
I did not.
Michael Thomas.
I was saying Mike Evans in my head.
Is that I take that as a slight, to be honest.
Well, Michael Thomas, his first 5 years in the NFL is not a slight.
Mr. Slant. That's all he does.
He's a possession receiver.
Yeah,
that's what you.
I
want a guy
understand
that's
that,
a go-to at any point in time. Steve, go
that's
ahead.
the
Give
big
me your
shoes to fill at the end of the day. That's what I'm saying with a slate. That's what I hate about some of these comps is you're giving these guys these huge shoes to fill.
Okay, so like Ryan said, starting the show, a comp is their ceiling. This is what a guy's potential is.
We're not saying he is that.
He's not that guy. Okay, Steve,
You're not that guy, pal.
Steve, give me yours on Hutchinson.
My apologies.
What did he say?
Now I like Hutchinson. I watched a couple games. I'm like, man, he just looks good. He looks
so deceiving,
fluid.
isn't it?
It's deceiving. I know
Hold on, Ryan.
I know you don't like him.
Ryan.
I know you don't like him, and I'm curious to see.
I didn't say I didn't like him.
Well, you don't.
What game did you watch of him? I watched the Iowa State.
I watched
Texas
Baylor
game.
and Texas.
Texas, he looked really good in.
Texas, he looked
and
really
he's
good.
only had, not to talk over you, I'm sorry, he's only had one game where he didn't have 8 or more receptions, and that was the playoff game. He had 2.
Oh, that
Can
I
you
did.
bring
this
that
year.
graphic up real quick?
So there was only one game that he did not have at least 8 receptions.
He is
in.
averaging 8.9 yards receptions per game.
8.9
Yeah.
yards.
8.9 receptions per
yeah.
game. I don't know why I said
There you
yards.
go.
So
I
he is
he
averaging
gets
almost
he
9
gets
receptions
his he gets his catches 100%.
Now,
He is a
maybe I missed
possession
something.
receiver.
Yes, maybe I missed something, right? But my cons for him was it was an awful offense and abhorrent QB play.
Yeah.
So I think that he actually ended up bailing his quarterback out a bunch, in my opinion.
He doesn't have the best quarterback, and he averaged almost 3,000 yards his entire career there.
And
not average. He totaled almost 3,000
No, he's
yards.
a senior.
And I
He's going to
think-
be 23 at the season start. I mean, that's not old.
I
It
think
is old for a wide receiver coming in the draft.
so. I think quarterback play is part of the reason why he's kind of low.
I think so too.
I think NFL Draft Buzz has him 11 or 12. I have him 2.
All right, Ryan.
Yeah.
Let's hear the negatives because we know you aren't this high on him, but you do like him, just not
Oh,
this high.
Look at that face.
He's mad.
I'm
Alright.
not like I said. I'm not. I don't not like the kid. He is a baller. He's like you said. He's a possession receiver, right?
You hate him.
What he lacks is the ability to create separation in the route running. There was multiple times where I would see him run into the defender, right? He doesn't make the defender think he's going one way to go another way, right? He doesn't lead the defender.
He
thinking
tries to
he's
run
going
through
in.
him.
He doesn't
tries to
outsmart him.
Right. He's not.
Shifty.
It's so early. My lingo is just not there.
He
But
doesn't have a good second step essentially coming out of his route.
It's not just that. It's the deceptiveness. Like he doesn't have that deceptive trait in his route running. It's very mediocre in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's what I said. He's not going to create that separation
So-
vertically, but across the middle, like
he has
said,
that ability to
Yeah.
get open on slants and whatnot. A lot of his film, I didn't see a lot of press coverage. I saw a lot of off coverage,
Yeah.
which in college football you're going to have that. But
Pros not
I
so
did
much.
comp him to Devonta Parker
That's another possession guy.
I got some feels of Devonta Parker from him. Devonta,
I don't hate that either.
I think that's a better comp than Michael Thomas personally. I'll be honest. I think that's. I like your comp way more.
When he does go vertical, he has the body size and the ability to go up and get the ball. Right? Devonta Parker does the same damn thing.
And
so he's physical.
For me, that plays into why I rank guys in certain places.
So Ryan,
size does matter.
I have a question for you then. So you're not high. You're not high on this guy.
I'm not like in this draft class, considering it's kind of weaker. It's not the sexiest one of all, but yeah, I mean he's in the middle of my pack.
So I have a question for you. Since where do you consider Devontae Parker when he was a top 10 wide receiver for 5-6 years when he came in with Tannehill and
I don't think he was ever a top 10 wide receiver.
Dude, he was averaging. Yeah, he was averaging 1,000 yards every year. He was. I think he had.
Wasn't he hurt a lot?
Before or after Landry?
I don't know.
I thought during Landry they both split a lot of.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Devonta Parker,
he's a solid receiver. So you don't like him as a tier 1 guy for that? Do you not think Devontae Parker's a tier 1 guy? I guess that's my question. You don't see Devontae Parker as that good of an asset?
I guess Devontae Parker.
I think Devonta Parker is a good.
Devontae's only had a 1,000 yard season.
Yeah,
and that was 2019.
I'm telling you, this kid has potential. But
that was after they
what
traded
I've
Landry,
watched,
I think, too.
I think he looks like what could be the next Devonta Parker.
Okay, all right. I got nothing on this. This is, like I said, this was between you three on this one because I don't know where to look at Hutchinson. But I did have some statements that he was good against press coverage. So from what I hear, his hand fighting was better than most.
Yes.
So we'll move on from him. We'll go to our next guy. We're gonna go Addison. Let's get into Addison and talk about Jordan Addison. And I'll give this one to Ryan. See what you got here, Ryan.
About Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison.
Where do you have Addison in your?
This is one of my. He's 2.
Okay.
This is one of those stereotypical shifty, nasty wide receivers. Good elite route runner. Creates a lot of space, knows how to, lead defenders one way to go another way. He's nasty. He's got that fight in him, because he is smaller. He's got to play scrappy.
He's not that small though. 5'11" is
5'11",
a good height for a wide receiver.
That's small.
He's skinny, but
he's a little thin.
He reminds me of a running back turned wide receiver. The way he shifts.
He's got that nasty side to him. He's a baller. I like this guy a lot. I mean, I did comp him to Deontay Johnson. We all know Deontay Johnson has
dropping issues.
Right, but I'm not saying dropping. Deontay's got some work to do with the hand.
Deontay Johnson's good.
So Deontay Johnson is a good route runner.
Yes, he is. He's very good.
Separation, gets open, makes tough contested catches when he doesn't drop the ball. The problem with Deontay Johnson is if you watch Deontay, he takes his eyes off the ball too much.
He looks upfield.
He tries to get upfield fast.
And that's his issue with drops.
Exactly.
So, Johnny, read the bottom of that graphic for me. I don't know if you know the teams. It's USC and Pitt. But
transferred to USC after an exceptional season in Pitt, putting up 100 receptions for 1,593 yards.
He won the Bolitnikoff that year, yeah.
Great at finding holes and zones on the defense. Excellent stop and start speeds.
I think that was the year that Kenny was there, too.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, this is another one of those guys that actually he had 2 good seasons in Pitt and then he transferred to USC.
Yeah.
So I feel like I think he's one of the better wide receivers in the draft. As 1 overall, I think he's going to be overlooked by some just because. And Jigba did nothing last year. So
that's why I have him ranked where he is. But where do you rank him? Is he a day 1 starter? He can be a number 1? Do you think he can be a number 1 on the team?
He's a day 1 starter. I don't know if he's a number 1.
Okay.
It's hard to say what an X receiver is and a Y receiver is coming out of this draft.
I get it.
Because DeVonta Smith, what would you consider him? You know what I mean?
I don't think Jordan Addison's going to be a number 1. Yeah. I would be. Let's put it this way: does he have the potential to be a number 1? Yes. I think all these receivers have potential.
What's your comp
depends on how hard they're willing to work. But I just think
Deontay Johnson was his name.
All right, Steve. How do you feel about Addison on this?
he has really good tape, and I liked he's effective within his catch radius. So when the ball is somewhere where he can catch it, he's probably going to catch it. He is fast. I do like the shiftiness. He's got good hands. I mean, he is smart enough to come back and help his quarterback when they're troubled too. He came back countless times. He's like, "Hey man, I'm open. I'm right here," and he would get open, and that helped drive the offense. He's smart. He's got a developed route tree. I think he's going to transfer well to the NFL. His contested catch rate it's not great. It's 22.2%. I did not like that. I was like, it's not great.
But he catches more in the open field because of his route running ability.
I agree.
He creates that separation.
All right.
The smaller size sucks. Is it small? No. Is it
not
big?
the smallest in this draft?
This whole draft class is small.
It really is. And what I noticed from when I was watching, his straight line speed isn't great. If he doesn't put on a double move, he struggles. So that's what I saw.
That was one of my highs on him, was that second effort coming out of the route or coming off the line. That's where he creates that separation.
When he has that step, he's open.
For a smaller guy, I guess not smaller, for under 6 foot, he's not super fast, but he's very shifty, and that's why I made that.
Yes.
He looks like a running back turned wide receiver to me.
Yes.
He has that shiftiness where he's going to make a guy miss, whereas he may not create almost like separation vertically, but he'll create it because of his shiftiness.
Like that one cut you see in running backs.
Yes,
I agree.
exactly.
He's that quick.
That's
he
why.
can put the
that's
foot
why
in
I
the
like
ground and move.
Yes,
that can make a defender miss, and that may be the difference between a first and 10 or a 4th and 3. So that's where you want one of your wide receivers to be. He's not going to be that possession physical receiver like you see with some of these guys coming out, like Quentin Johnson and stuff like that, but he's definitely a guy who's going to help you get those yak yards, in my opinion.
A guy like this, would you rather have him go to a weaker quarterback or a stronger quarterback? Like,
define weaker and stronger.
Yeah, who would you?
If you give me a second.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Define them.
I'm trying to define them so you guys understand what I'm saying. When I say a weaker quarterback, a quarterback that struggles fitting a ball through the seam. Okay. So like, Justin Herbert is a good quarterback, right? But he doesn't really throw the ball through the seam much. He hits guys on the sidelines. He hits guys that in the open field more often.
In stride.
Right. Whereas a guy like Patrick Mahomes hits a guy through the seams a lot. So like he can throw balls in coverage and hit his wide receiver where it needs to be. So that's why I'm asking, like,
every wide receiver would like
Addison. Well, but what you guys are saying is Addison's a better catcher in the open field. Yeah. So
I agree.
Can he catch behind D-backs? Is he going to be able to see the ball through the seams well? And that's my question. Can he go to a team should he go to a team with an okay quarterback and he's going to make that quarterback go to the next level? Or is he going to go to a team with a great quarterback? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ryan, can you help clarify what I'm saying a little bit?
I mean, he's going to go later in the first round, so that usually means that you have,
maybe Green Bay.
He's going to have a better.
So you think that he could,
quarterback,
a better quarterback? But my question is, can he catch the ball through the seams with a better quarterback? I guess my question. Oh, you think so? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was asking because we just sat here and said that he's better in the open field.
He is. That's because he creates a lot of separation.
Yeah, he does.
Okay. He doesn't. I mean, he's not afraid to go across the middle if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm talking about. Like, can he take a hit and catch a ball?
Yes.
I guess
in college, yes. Yeah. In the pros, coming across the middle might be different.
Yeah,
linebackers are scary.
I mean, I'm worried about safeties.
Let's move on to our last guy in our tier 1, and that would be Zay Flowers. I'm gonna go right back to Ryan on this one. Ryan's high again on Zay Flowers. So let's see what we got on Zay Flowers, Ryan.
I mean, I got him at 3. I like this is a Baltimore guy. You better not frig this up.
They will.
Because I got them DJ Moore feels from Zay Flowers.
Stop.
Scrappy.
I did not expect that.
Scrappy young player.
Oh, man.
Short area quickness. Is elite with the ball in his hands. Can do it all. Can play outside. Can play inside. Can take end arounds. Can play. He's like.
I think he played majority outside.
He's like
at
the
his
low.
size.
He's not afraid. I mean, you watch some of his tape. He makes catches at some of the most ridiculous catch points for his height.
Yes, he does.
5'9", goes up, gets it. I mean, 35.5-foot vertical for a guy that's 5'9". I mean, that's pretty damn good. I mean, I just like this kid. I mean, he's quick.
Do you think Lamar is
I
that
see a lot
good,
of
though?
DJ Moore, a little bit of Steve Young in him Steve
Smith.
Steve
Yeah,
Smith
I could see that too.
with the scrappiness. You know, he's a baller,
I think
man.
he's
He wants to
comped to
play.
Steve
Did you
Smith,
just watch
wasn't he?
Scooby Doo or something? You're talking
Why?
a lot about Scrappy.
Scrappiness.
No, you got it.
That was a dad
well,
joke if I ever heard one.
Scrappy was, he was who he was because they nicknamed him Scrappy because he's nasty. You know.
Oh, I didn't know that was his nickname, so okay.
Oh,
Ryan,
is it really? I didn't know that either.
Yeah, his
Ryan-
real name is
Go
Dog.
ahead. You're good. So I have a question. Since you said that you like him going to the Ravens, like,
Yes.
do you think Lamar has the ability to pinpoint the ball for a guy like this accurately? Because
Yes.
okay, that's just a simple question. I'm just asking, like downfield on the outside.
That's a
like,
fight. You're picking a fight.
Yeah, yeah.
no, I'm asking a simple question. Like
the hook.
one of
Eat
his
the
knocks.
hook.
One of his knocks is accuracy.
It has gone down since his MVP season.
Well, I mean that.
But that's also this year he had no wide receivers.
All right.
That's true.
So, Wheels, how do you feel about
I got
it?
dragged for this on Wednesday.
What'd you do?
I compared Zay Flowers to Marquise Brown. I said I think he's better than Marquise Brown. But the way he plays, he reminds me of
forgot
Marquise Brown.
We did rip him apart.
So,
Did I? I don't know.
yes, you did. You said it was a slight. You said it.
Well,
You're
did I?
dissing him.
Yes, you
You're
did.
dissing him.
I'm
So,
dissing what Marquise. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think Zay's way better.
That's why I said I like Zay Flowers is going to be better than Marquise Brown. And funny enough, Ryan wants him on the Ravens. That I think emphasizes my comp.
The Marquise Brown feel.
Yes, I think the Ravens are more comfortable with the guy who may be undersized, but like Ryan said, he's scrappy. He can go up and get the ball. That's what you need with the Ravens. That's what you need in the NFC North, going against some of the corners you have to.
And
Mika Fitzpatrick, Denzel Ward.
he's loyal. He
You
stayed
loyal.
with Boston College, even though he had the
You smart.
poopiest of
You
quarterbacks.
loyal.
Oh,
but
man,
that's
I
the
even
thing.
have
He
that.
was good with bad
Yeah.
quarterback play, and that's not anything against Lamar. I think he'll be much better.
I
mean,
will
Lamar-
literally throttle you.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying.
My wife's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Eat the hook, Ryan.
You know what's
it's
funny?
time.
It's funny that you said loyal.
John, we need a graphic. that
It's
says
just
eat the
funny
hook.
that
Here
you
we
said
go.
loyal
Oh,
because
buddy, I'm gonna move out the
Lamar
way.
Jackson posted that tweet that said he's loyal no matter what, essentially. So I just think that's funny that you said loyal was the word you used for the Ravens.
We had enough Lamar slander on Wednesday. Let's move on.
Steve, how do you feel about Flowers?
I like Zay Flowers a lot. He's actually my 3. I like him a lot. His size takes away a bunch.
Yeah, but if he's 2 inches taller, he's Antonio Brown.
I
All day
gotta
long.
be
He's
honest.
Antonio
If
Brown.
he's 10 pounds heavier and 2
Funny that
inches
you say
taller,
that, 'cause
he's Antonio Brown.
I think his comp can be Antonio Brown. I don't think the 2 inches makes a difference.
I do.
You ask some women, it does.
Oh.
That's Tom Brady's wife.
Bing, pow, pow.
Anyway, Draft Network comped him to Tyler Lockett, and I don't like that because I think that he's
Tyler Lockett's a downfield guy, stretch
Yeah.
the field
and
guy.
that's Zay Flowers.
No.
He can be, but he isn't.
You know why they're saying that? Because of his size and his speed.
Well,
That's all-
yeah.
They're just
Tyler
going
Lockett's
off of
not
that.
5'9".
No,
No, Tyler Lockett's
I'm
fine.
saying
People-
they're making that comp
They're
because of
making-
his
exactly.
size
They make
and
it
his
off of
speed.
measurables.
Yeah, I'm saying
Yes,
I disagree with that.
exactly.
He's shiftier than Lockett, in my opinion.
100%.
They don't look at his game and try to think of what kind of game.
They're
this is
bullet
modeled
point
from.
guys.
They go, oh, this guy's 5'9", 182. Tyler Lockett.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're bullet
How
point
lazy can
guys.
you be?
Do you think they
yeah.
do it like that too?
Yeah, they probably do. 100%.
They sit
Yeah.
around with their stogies and their
Bourbon.
little tiny bourbon
vape
shots
pens.
in their little
stogies.
rice glass, and they're like,
Rice glass?
This player is Tyler Lockett.
Jimmy,
Oh my
I
God.
didn't see Jimmy put that in the chat. He
didn't
goes
see
for
what
the
he
amount of
said.
money Lamar wants.
Yeah.
He better be able to pinpoint
I
the
saw
ball. All right. So let me just go over this really quick. So our tier 1 guys, we have as I think number 1 overall, we could probably say Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think all of us probably right around there. I think number 2, we'll probably go with Jordan Addison as our second guy in this tier 1. And,
I agree with that.
And then number 3, I think we'll have to say Zay Flowers will be our 3.
No, Xavier Hutchinson 3.
I think we're gonna have to say. Well, I you know what? I like
What
Hutchinson,
was that?
but I
Oh,
think
buddy.
I
first
think
day on the job.
I think the comp for you guys, you all like Zay Flowers if he's 2 inches taller. Let's take height out of it and say Zay Flowers' tenacity and his drive to play the game. Maybe, and you all said this earlier, that he put so much energy into gaining weight before the combine and gaining muscle that it shows his drive to play the game. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to put Zay Flowers as our 3 overall, and then Xavier Hutchinson we're going to put as our 4 overall. Now, what we mean by tier 1 guys, we mean guys that more than likely are going to go in the NFL and make a day 1 impact on their team, and that's what we mean by tier 1. So let's move on.
We off.